thinking, your expertise and creativity and adaptability are truly vital for Kentucky's economy. So we're going to do some introductions of the panel who's here this morning, and then we'll also ask for participants to unmute and say hello. So I'm going to pass it along to Team Kentucky, or actually Dr. Alvarado, why don't you introduce yourself?
Yeah, so I am Casey Alvarado. I'm with the Ready for Industry crew. We are working with Team Kentucky, and I am the director here. I'm grateful to be with you all.
Awesome. Lisa Page.
Good morning, everyone. Lisa Page, and I'm the Executive Director for the Office of Industry and Apprenticeship Services, and very happy to be with you all today. Welcome.
Super. Bill Sindel.
Yes, hello. My name is Bill Sandell. I'm an apprenticeship workforce consultant with the Office of Industry and Apprenticeship Services, and I'm a regional consultant for the South Central and the Cumberlands regions of the state, and I am excited to be here.
All right. Naomi, are you able to say hello?
Yep, it looks like today I can. I'm Naomi Sutton, and camera's off again. I'm sorry, guys. It was on. I'm with the Green River and West Kentucky region, and I do what Bill does across the state.
Awesome, awesome. And someone is under my name, but if you want to say hello, who's under my name?
Well, apparently that's me.
That's right.
Yeah, two Michelles. My name is Michelle Diesch. I am the workforce and apprenticeship consultant for the Kentuckiana Works Greater Louisville region. Good morning.
Awesome, awesome. So let's go to our participants. If you wouldn't mind introducing yourself and telling us if you're with the where your role in the IT industry, we greatly appreciate it. I'm going to start at the bottom of the participant list with Stacy Cole. Please say hello. Can we hear you, Stacy?
Okay, can you hear me now?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, I could not find the right tab. My name is Stacia Cole. I am a job placement specialist with the Office of Vocational Rehabilitation in Owensboro. So I saw this webinar come across and thought this is interesting, so I wanted to jump on.
Awesome. Well, we're excited to have you, Stacia. Thank you.
Thank you. Uh-huh.
All right. Monica Taylor? Are you with us, Monica? All right, we'll come back to Monica. Let's go to LaShanya West. Gonna keep going down the list. Kyle Ballard. Say hello, Kyle. All right. Kristen Nicholson, would you like to say hello?
Hi, I'm Kristen Nicholson. I'm from the Paducah Career Center. I'm a workforce development consultant.
All right. Awesome. Kelsey Watson.
Nice shot today.
I know. Yeah.
All right. Erin White, please say hello.
Hello, this is Erin White. I'm a workforce talent project manager with the Education and Labor Cabinet.
Awesome. Lisa Brasher.
Good morning. I'm Lisa. I work here at the Career Center in Hopkinsville.
Awesome. All right. And Andrea, say hello.
Hello, it's Andrea Bain. I'm the Workforce Development Manager here at the Paducah Career Center.
All right. And Kyle, thank you for joining us, everyone. So we're so glad to have everyone here to learn about this invaluable tool and resource. I recognize the rapidly changing landscape of information and technology, keeping up with the emerging technologies and cybersecurity threats and talent shortage are significant challenges of the employers in the IT industry. That's where Kentucky's Ready for Industry program comes in, explicitly designed to meet the needs of the industry and help propel our IT employers forward. Ready for Industry is more than just a training initiative. It's a collaborative effort to equip Kentuckians with the in-demand skills and industry recognized in industry recognized certificates essential in the IT sector. Think of it as a bridge for connecting motivated individuals to cutting-edge opportunities within the tech-driven organizations. Here's how Ready for Industry can support IT employer goals. It gives targeted skill development. The program emphasizes critical skills such as cybersecurity, cloud computing, software development, data analytics, and the emerging AI AI, which is just really interesting. Customizable training tools. It works closely with industry leaders to ensure training content aligns with specific needs, coding languages, cybersecurity protocols, and certification programs such as CompTIA, Cisco, and AWS. Ready for Industry is a pipeline to qualify talent. It helps create continuous flow and job-ready individuals who understand IT expectations or committed to building the technology. Enhanced employee retention by providing the foundational skills. Ready for Industry and the career development opportunities will help employers reduce turnover, cultivate more stable experience in workforce, and give growth to economic impact. This initiative aims to strengthen Kentucky's economy by empowering individuals to securing rewarding careers in IT and in innovation. So as workforce development professionals and employers in IT, Ready for Industry is a solution to help meet a workforce pain point. We're excited to have everyone here to learn about Ready for Industry and how it can enhance your workforce development work. Together, we can build a more skilled, innovative, competitive IT sector, and we're available as Team Kentucky to answer your questions and provide resources you need. Please feel free to connect with us after today's presentation. And I'm going to turn the presentation over to you, Dr. Alvarado.
All right. Thank you so much, Michelle. Thank you for those that are joining on. I see that we now have Arlen Mink and Laura Huff that's added on there. And so thank you all for joining us today. This is actually one of our largest group, and so I'm pretty excited today. Let me go ahead and share my screen with you all. All right. Everyone can see that. Okay. Everyone can see my screen?
Yep, you're good.
Perfect. So thank you, Deputy Commissioner Michelle DeJean and Team Kentucky for partnering with RFI Team to provide this webinar for Kentucky's IT employers and workforce development professionals. As Michelle said, this resource is fully funded through the Quest grant that is focused on quality jobs, equity, strategy, and training in Kentucky. Just a good little housekeeping rule is that you all can engage. I've opened up your mic, so if you have something you would like to say, a comment, a question, feel free. This is a discussion based. This is so that we can come together and see how RFI can work in your organization or your workforce development or job training program. And then also, if you have ideas, comments, suggestions, please put them in the chat, and we will be checking that throughout this time of the webinar. This webinar will also be recorded and have a repository that we keep on YouTube so that you can share it. So if you have someone that needed to attend, or you feel like at the end of this they need to see this, feel free to share that, as well as I will send you an email with the recording and any additional resources. So thank you all again for that. So RFI, Ready for Industry, prepares job seekers from students, late teens to adulthood for career awareness and preparedness. It focuses on addressing the workplace and industry knowledge by answering what preparation is needed for the industry, what I want to pursue, and what information do I need to know to be prepared for day one so that I am a ready trainee for that pathway. And then once I get on that job, how do I retain that career through the soft skills that are needed? RFI focuses on 5 sectors that are actually key industries in Kentucky: healthcare, manufacturing, IT, construction, and logistics. Each sector is self-paced course with 6 sections in each course that are a total to 15 to 20 self-paced hours to be completed. Today we'll focus on IT and we'll go through those sections, those pieces, and how they work. But feel free again, have any questions, please ask us in the chat. All right. Ready for Industry has been made available again through the Quest Grant and Team Kentucky for across the state of Kentucky to be used in various ways. Workforce centers, community college, as well as on-the-job training and with employers. It's an easy setup, web-based, no downloading, no software needed, and is there for the entry level as well as those who need to upskill in the knowledge base area. The RFI curriculum supports Tier 3 and Tier 4 in the competency model tier, covering the gaps in knowledge of technical training. For example, the soft skills needed specifically for IT and safety protocols of reasoning. It's covering those gaps, is bridging those cognitive skills and the knowledge needed for success in that industry. So think about not your hands-on application, but your knowledge base, your terminology, the wherewithal, the landscape, the soft skills. Those are the areas that this curriculum address. Here is an introductory video to the content of RFI and a little overview of the platform. Like I said, the platform is web-based, no software or downloading of the program needed. It can be accessed by phone, tablet, and computer as long as you have Wi-Fi.
Are you interested in working with computers and the latest digital technology? The variety of careers in information technology is endless, growing each day as new technology is unlocked. This Ready for Industry course will explore jobs related to information technology and computing and the common terms and procedures you will encounter working in these fields. With the wide variety of available IT careers, you may be wondering how to get started. This course will help you consider which ones might appeal to you. After taking this course, you should be prepared to move forward into these high-demand job opportunities towards a rewarding career. In this course, you'll become familiar with the wide variety of IT job opportunities, the language used in information technology careers, the common industrial computing applications, including networks, internet connectivity, and cloud-based computing and storage, cybersecurity issues and common methods of protecting digital information, the future growth and outlook of the IT industry. Some of the jobs that this course will examine include digital security careers. Digital security careers cover jobs like a systems security administrator, network security engineer, or information systems manager. Each of these positions are responsible for protecting an organization's digital resources. Data analyst. Data analysts are responsible for the collection of an organization's important data and translating it into useful information the company management requires. Data scientist. Data scientists review the organization's important information and use it to make market predictions that will guide future operational decisions. Software developer. Software developers design and code the computer software needed to perform specific functions. They also troubleshoot errors and manage feedback and updates on new features. Web developer. A web developer.
So you can see from the video also the content of the curriculum, but also how the platform is set up. It is user-friendly, click-based, voice to text. They're reading as they're going throughout, but they also have the additional to be able to hear the voices it's going, and then some videos, and then assessments based on that. But we'll go deeper in that as we go further. If you would like to see this video more, it's a very robust video, about 15 to 20 minutes. Please feel free to reply or put in the chat, and I can send that to you after this webinar. So RFI is broken down into 6 sections into each sector. Those sections are introduction to IT, working in IT, exploring in a career, current issues, looking for a career, workplace expectations. So you have topical knowledge, building up on current knowledge, getting on the foundational knowledge to be able to keep and retain that career. The definitions are and roles of information technology in business and society you'll find in section 1. Then you get into section 2, an overview of just some roles. Just like you saw in the video, we're looking at data analyst, we're looking at our cybersecurity, personal networking, cloud, and industrial computing devices. We're looking at the 4 criteria for information to be considered, like real communication, language from relevance, and then delving further into the world of IT. Then we're getting into section 3 and section 4. What are the current landscapes? We want someone who is getting on to the job on day 1 to know the current landscape, so they have some wherewithal, they have some self-efficacy, they have some confidence about the role that they're taking on, and be able to communicate with their fellow co-workers as well as their supervisors about the knowledge that they've gained, and feel confident in that role and using that terminology. Then we're getting into section 5. I've decided that I want to be a data analyst. Okay, what does that pathway look like, and how do I get into that? What is the not only the education process, but the training process? What are some areas that I need to look for? And then once I'm getting into that job, what does my resume need to be built like? What does that interview process look like? And then what does it look like starting on day 1? And a day-to-day process. And then finally, is that workplace expectations. What are the soft skills specifically needed for IT? And how to communicate properly, especially those, sometimes we work with people that are not IT based, but they're part of our department, addressing those things and how to have a better communication in that. With the 6 sections, so each section has a quiz that needs to be passed at 80% or higher. With that quiz, as they get through all those sections and complete those, they can receive an internal micro-credential called the RFI Completion Certificate that can be immediately downloaded once completed. We also have an outside credential called the RFI NOCTI credential. That's an industry-recognized micro-credential through the NOCTI. That is a 1 hour, 57-question test that can be taken at a NOCTI center to be able to pass that and have that industry micro credential. Is there any questions thus far? Bill, do you see any in the chat? No?
Not yet.
All right. Okay. You guys have any insights or
Just-
thoughts you want to add
Just
on?
requests for the video at the end.
Okay, perfect. Okay, get some of that. All right, so let's get deeper into the section. So each section has the header. In the header, there's 6 other sections that get deeper into that. So in those section 1, when I told you about introduction to IT, what is the information tech, the importance of information technology in society, each of those have a wide range of content. Diving into common IT devices, computer application processes. Section 2, the trainee is focusing on the day-to-day working in IT from the beginning to the end in the IT workspace, okay? So if I'm beginning from, I'm in the IT architecture space to I'm going on to, maybe I'm part of the data backup, maybe I'm part of internal platforms, maybe I'm part of security profiles, and then also how does that play overall in risk management? Because we all know how important that is with data and information. We use it day to day. And how much that's changing and what a person needs and that skill set that they need to be able to have that role. And so it addresses what skills that person may need to have those roles, and then the knowledge that is attained with that. These 2 sections build on the foundation of IT to the best practice to software and website development, answering the questions of why and how and what does it do, and what do I do once I'm working in this, and how that process works. And then each section has its level of sample of questions that are within the quiz. These are sample questions from those assessments. So in section 1, it's asking what field is the result when computers and communication technologies are combined, typically in the context of business operations. Section 2 is what's the process of copies and archives data so that is accessible in case the original data is corrupted or deleted. And then section 3, what would create or update systems and software by creating algorithms that perform needed functions. So looking at these questions, you guys, Feel free. Let's throw some answers in the chat. Anyone have any answers to section 1, 2, or 3 questions?
I'm just watching the chat, Dr. Alvarado. Let's see who knows their IT stuff this morning.
Yes. Okay. Can you see in the chat there?
No, I'm not seeing participant responses in the chat.
Everybody needs to drink their
Okay.
coffee.
Everybody's drinking their hey.
Yeah.
I understand that completely. So,
Information and technology for number 1. Is she
information and technology for number 1?
Yep.
Okay.
Is drum roll, what's the answer?
You're correct. Information and
correct.
technology. Yes.
Data backup for number 2. Thank you, Andrea.
Perfect. Okay. Number 3. Who would create or update systems and software by creating algorithms that perform needed functions? Okay.
Software developer.
Yeah.
All right. We have
Number IT.
Mhm.
Yes. So those are just samples of questions found in each of the assessments at each section. You can see that the questions reaffirm the knowledge the individual should be gaining during each module and reinforce the retaining of that through the key questioning. Okay. Moving into the next sections, section 3, you're exploring a career in IT. Okay, so now that I've had that, exploration of the overview of IT, now let's get into the day-to-day of certain specific roles and some of your top IT roles: software developer, web developer, data management, cybersecurity, hardware design, and maintenance. And there's actually even more roles inside of this section 3. I'll send you after this webinar a list of the guided notes, and you can actually delve into section 3 to see exactly what's in that content, as well as you have the option when you see the QR code, if you'd like to actually have your own RFI account so that you can go throughout each module. We would love for you to have that, as well as we will think about different ways that we can pilot it with your organization. Section 4, we're looking at current issues. Again, speaking about that landscape, about what we see: cloud computing, the Internet of Things, data and privacy. I think about this week, we've been on some travels, and my husband went to a baseball game and he traveled in a Waymo, which is an autonomous car. So there was no driver. It was him inside of it, and so we want to know that those current issues are happening. And how does that work? And so that was connected to Bluetooth and how they were tracking the data and the algorithm and where you want to go and what music he liked to listen to. And it was just very interesting how that came together. And so you can see those. Section 4 talks about that AI and those current issues within cybersecurity. We also get into like engineering of science and software, education and certification roadmaps. We know that in IT, there is continuous knowledge that needs to be built upon. And so there are certain roadmaps that are needed when we get into the CISM or ISO, data camps and coding boot camps, when you get into Python, and all the things that are needed to build on, to have that knowledge and to do that job well as to keep those systems running well. And then later on is deciding, this is the role that I want to do. How do I get into creating this role, being a part of this, the education, maybe the job trainers that I need to get connected to, and then building my resume and my cover letter, and the best practices to keep those things. With that being said, in the chat, is there some ideas or thoughts of how you could be using this?
It looks like the Waymo car experience is a topic.
Yes. Aaron, those are wild. Yes. I did not go with him. I was not ready yet. I was like, it could take one of us. It could. But it's very fascinating.
Yeah.
Get back at number 2. Anyone else think about some ideas or some ways that maybe you can use this in your current programs with your employees? Not only just retaining, but maybe even upskilling. So.
Some of the key aspects to consider is the growing demand. It helps to address the skills gap, talent retention challenges. So Ready for Industry can help identify industry needs, inform in any current training program, facilitate partnerships, support investment in decisions, and enhance workforce planning. So it's a win-win for workforce development professionals on the line and employers that implementing Ready for Industry and your training and recruitment strategies it's only an advantage, and we'd love to have you participate. So thank you.
Yeah. Thank you, Michelle. Yes. No, thank you, Aaron, for your comment. I bet you love the ease of it. Yes, that is the idea. That what, around RFI is that it can be accessed anywhere on any device, so that no matter where you're at in your career journey or your accessibility, that you're able to reach that resource and be able to get the skills that you need in knowledge base to be able to get the job that you want and also to keep that job. This is not only just used in CTE programs or employer programs, but it's also used in work-based learning programs, reentry programs, drug rehabilitation centers. I mean, it's so flexible and it's so broad, but it's made to be able to fit a wide variety of needs in its usage.
And one thing that I'd like to comment on, this has been, I think, a really good overview and conversation. And Deputy Commissioner DeJean, you just really, I think, hit the nail on the head for some of the opportunities for use of RFI and where it stands, as the state has these, access to no cost resources like Ready for Industry. And within that stackable credential framework, you showed that pyramid model a few slides ago, Dr. Alvarado, that I think really helps individuals who may not have any credentials or things to show and communicate to potential employers what they know and can do. So coupled with, the WIN career readiness system, Ready for Industry, really gives that opportunity to kind of delve into introduction to the different industry sectors. And particularly for IT, we're looking at this today, giving people the opportunity of what does that look like and what could a career look like that for me, and be able to have something that they could take to an employer and say, hey, I know the basics. Because a lot of times people go into a job and they don't know what it's about, and they may leave because they've never been introduced to it. And I think that Ready for Industry is a great opportunity that doesn't cost anything to you or to the practitioner who's helping the potential employees and those who are looking for work or looking to upskill to be able to have that. So just want to put that out there as a reminder that we have a lot of great resources that are stackable to potential higher pathways.
Yeah, no, thank you so much for that, Lisa. No, and you hit the nail on the head with that. Yes, it should be stackable credentials. It's, I think about careers and life as an interstate. You get on and off and you grab skills as you need them. And so here's an opportunity for that. Using RFI and in partnership with Team Kentucky with all the wonderful resources that you have that are available. And so when we get to the end, I would love for each of you to speak to the different roles and things that you have available that maybe some are not aware of. So finishing up in section 6, we're getting into those workplace expectations. We call them soft skills, but they're definitely not soft. They're definitely a very needed employability skills, but these are actually specific to IT. What is my employer expecting? What does it look like working as a team in IT? What does my time management and self-management look like? Sometimes, I'm working on an isolated process that will be connected to someone else. And so I'm on a time management to be able to get that. We've all had our Wi-Fi go down or a software go down or things that are happening that constrict our day. And so we rely on IT to be able to have that time management and self-management to get things back up and running so that the other things that are happening the day to day, they're so vital and so important. Okay. These are some other sample questions that come from section 4, section 5, and section 6. So section 4, we're looking at what can track data trends and automatically make recommendations about these trends. Section 5, what is something you should spend time doing prior to an interview? And section 6, what's the way you speak, look, and act and make decisions all combined into workplace behavior known as what? I would love for you guys to review these questions and just tell me in the chat, what are your answers?
This is great, Dr. Alvarado, that we're trying to show folks that it's really content specific and applicable questions. So,
Yes.
any thoughts on section 4? Who knows the answer? Question.
Stephanie, Bill, Naomi, any of you guys know the question or answer?
Andrea, researching and algorithms.
Okay.
All right. Awesome.
Good job.
All right. Research and visiting for section 5. Thank you, Andrea. And section 6? As the workforce professionals on the call. Who knows number 6?
Professionalism.
Thank you very much. Oh,
Yes.
thank you.
Yeah, all of them so very necessary. But we know that, the technical skills are so very important. The hard skills will get you hired, but the lack of soft skills will get you fired. So we need to make sure that we have that professionalism, and that becomes very core of our day-to-day and all that we do, especially because we're working with each other, as well as it's a service industry. Thank you all for your answers. Here, we're looking at currently what is the IT landscape of workforce and needs in Kentucky. I'm going to hand this over to Mr. Bill here, and he's going to give you a little insight, maybe even some of our Naomi, Tiffany, or Lisa, giving some ideas and some information, more information about the overview of the IT workforce needs in Kentucky.
Yeah, thank you. Definitely, the IT industry is a growing industry, and I know there's been lots of news about things going on with AI and all these things in the last year or so. But even despite that, there is huge growth in the industry, and it's expected to continue to grow. And no matter how advanced our artificial intelligence resources get, there's still going to be a huge need for personnel. If the robots aren't going to be installing servers into your local business anytime soon. Maybe that will be sometime way far in the future, but it'll be a while before that happens. And but even with the software, there is huge limitations in what AI can do, and despite the advancements we've seen, there's still going to be a huge need for personnel who understand these resources and understand the necessity of using those resources properly and in creating those resources. And I just think right now, one of my good friends, he grew up in Adair County, Kentucky, and he went and learned IT skills, and now he works for the NSA and is a supervisor and leads a whole team of cybersecurity experts for the NSA, and homegrown right here in Kentucky. And so this resource here is a wonderful resource to help get those people who might be interested in the IT industry to be able to understand just the basics of what they'll need to be successful in that industry, because there are so many different, there's hardware, there's software, there's so much need, and it's going to continue to need, especially in the cybersecurity front. And so whatever we can do to help get individuals interested and to learn more and be able to be successful in that industry, that's what we're here for, and that's what this resource is for.
Wonderful.
I wanted to take a minute and add to that. Bill, you're talking about a company and people. There's a company here in Green River, very large company, and they are national, and they just crossed the boundary into international. And a lot of it is because their scope of work was focused so heavily on healthcare IT and logistics that they became very synonymous with leading the culture. And 2 days ago, on Monday, I got a call from the head of the company saying, okay, I know we can hire high school students because they're the only ones who understand what's here. Because the technology is turning so fast, the kids are learning it playing games. Basic AI activity based on gaming and a lot of this stuff. And he's like, okay, I need to change my hiring tactics. We didn't even have to post an ad because I called 4 career people, coaches, and he got 28 resumes by the end of the day yesterday.
Wow.
Because IT is such a growing field. 2 of those kids are juniors. So they are looking at part-time work. And I know the one student got hired already, but all the tech startup companies, even here in Kentucky with all of our broadband infrastructure and digital upskilling, the growth is phenomenal. I know you see it out in West Kentucky with all the new technology and the internet coming around and growth. You see it in the parks where the parks are having Wi-Fi for parents and kids. And, this is one growing field. I think it was by 2035, there's an estimated growth of need of 25% growth in the IT field alone. So if you're not thinking about it, we need to remind ourselves to think about it because we are relying very heavily on it, which means we need to rely heavily on the training.
Well,
So-
that's exciting, Naomi. So, and thank you, Bill, for that information. And also what a resource that is available through Team Kentucky at the career centers and the other departments to reach out to gain employment like that. There are people waiting, but it's just making sure you have connection to your resources and connection to you all. And so thank you so much for that. But yeah, it is growing vastly. So let's delve a little bit more into the 2 certifications. We talked about, again, and Naomi just mentioned it, how much it is to those stackable credentials. Lisa mentioned that as well, especially in IT, where you go back and you continue to upskill because things change so rapidly. And so this is just getting that learner in that pattern of learning to upskill. With that, the RFI certification, this is exactly what it looks like upon completion. And it's signed by the Commissioner Department of Workforce Development and able to be downloaded for that participant to be able to take to you. It can be added into your job descriptions that say that, I want you to have this RFI completion. It can be part of your onboarding. There's so many different ways that you can use this and ask for the certification. Again, participants are going through each of the 6 sections that we looked at. They're completing a quiz. They must complete it at 80% or higher. That means that they're understanding and have that competency there. And then once they complete that, that's enabled to be downloaded. Also, if they have trouble completing this, it can be reset so that they can take this quiz again. The next piece is our NOCTI certification. So NOCTI is the National Occupancy Competency Testing and industry recognized micro-credential. That is the external certification. And what you can do with that is the students can go to a NOCTI center. We're working with various employers to become a NOCTI center. It takes at least 10 minutes to become certified in that. If an employer wants to become a NOCTI center or workforce development site, they can also become a NOCTI center. Once that's done, the person will come in, they'll take the exam. It's 1 hour. It is 56 questions. And upon in the completion of that, they receive that micro credential that is there. And then I just want to drop back to this one. Some other usage is that we talked about rapidly upskilling and getting on the cutting edge of IT that Naomi mentioned, but also looking at, using this for structured apprenticeships and internship programs. When you're thinking about maybe high school youth, them coming in their junior or their senior year, and completing those, maybe even in your post-secondary schools, looking at your local community colleges and your technical schools, and allowing students to have this opportunity, and maybe they need to complete the RFI completion to receive entrance into that. And so we have some partnerships that are using RFI as an entrance into those programs. This is again aligning with the knowledge that's needed, with those real world concepts, and ensuring that that person has the knowledge, the wherewithal, and they're equipped to be the skilled trainee that you need to put into that hands-on environment. So I have the knowledge. I know, I often use this phrase that I know that the tomato is a fruit, but I know not to put it in a fruit salad. Okay, and so they have that knowledge of on day one that they know that tomato is not a fruit, and you help them not to put that fruit in a fruit salad. And then you get that on board and in that skill training. So.
And one of the things that I want to point out too, once anyone completes, you know what I mean, one of the RFI modules, you can put that on your resume, right? It shows initiative, it shows basic knowledge, it shows career readiness, and all of that stands out to employers.
Thank you for that. Yes, it does definitely. So these are, go ahead. Go
I
ahead.
was just going to say the micro credentials that Tiffany, you just mentioned, are what helped us pick the students so quickly because they already had some of them.
Yes.
So
yeah,
now I get to help build the apprenticeship at this company. I'm working on them.
Oh yeah, building an apprenticeship, and now there's a pipeline, of constant of
Right.
students coming through those CTE programs and work-based learning programs and apprenticeship programs. My previous career I was in as a CTE director and an assistant principal, and that was my most actually enrolled area was robotics and coding. I just couldn't keep students and it was a broad variety of students that wanted that. From the student that wanted to be the lawyer and wanted to have that coding application, to that student that actually wants to, be the white hat hacker, which is the good hackers. But they were there and they learned that knowledge. And then those students were stepping into work-based learning and apprenticeship programs and getting jobs like that, high paying, high wage demand jobs that you all have in Kentucky that are available there. And so I'm definitely reaching out to you all and creating those programs is here with the great resources that you have as Team Kentucky. Here's just some partnerships that we have across, not only in Kentucky, but across the landscape of where RFI is available. RFI is adopted into 4 states and has continuous growth that is happening. Our current partnerships throughout, not only with Team Kentucky, but also with Goodwill Industries Training Center. They're using it as career exploration and onboarding process. We're working with SOAR Kentucky, using it with our career coaches and some of their rehabilitation centers, working with the CTE programs with Ms. Kathy Hone to get that into the CTE career coaches and consultants across the high schools. And then continued partnerships with employers. And we're, want to continue to partner with you all to be able to bring this to your organization. If you have someone you want us to connect with, please let us know. You can put it in the chat. You can send me a reply to the email today. You can let one of the people know at Team Kentucky, but we want to be able to get this resource to you that is fully funded by the Quest grant to be a resource to you. Okay. Here's also another way you can see to get involved. You can launch a pilot at your location today. All you have to do is scan this QR code and put in your information, and we will get an account to you. Once you have your account, you'll become what's called an instructor level or an administrator level, so that you can have, say, if you're an HR person, you can put your learners or your training people or your supervisors a part of it, and they can enroll people. I can take you through the training of setting up the platform. It is literally 15 to 20 minutes of your time, and help you with that and help you with that onboarding process. We also want you to spread the word. We want others to be able to use RFI and use the resources that it has in the curriculum that is available. So please share this information, share the email that I send you, the recording, the QR code if you'd like, as well as we want you to reach out to your local workforce development board. Let them know that you are wanting to use RFI, you have RFI, you see the importance of it in your work and in your day-to-day, and let them know. It can be a phone call, it can be an email, it can be a letter. If you need help putting that together, please let us know and we can do that as well. And then below, if you cannot scan the QR code, you can see that you can visit readyforindustry.com/KY for Kentucky and request a new account. And then also you have my contact information that is there and available. Again, this is a flexible delivery model. It can be it can be in the phone, laptop, tablet. It is online. It is self-paced. It can also be used as a classroom model to be done as a whole. It's very flexible. It removes a lot of barriers of time and geography and definitely cost. Now that it is fully funded for you all, it helps your employees to gain confidence and upskill, as well as helping to close some knowledge skills gaps that we know, especially in the soft skills area, that help you to have a more efficient employee that you're able to not only onboard, but able to retain and help them to keep and grow in your organization to be a vital asset to you. At this time, I'd love to hand it over to Team Kentucky to give you more insight about RFI and how they're using it, as well as the things that they do in each of their department, because each of it varies, and how they can support you and connect with you all. So Michelle, I'll let you go ahead and get started.
Thank you, Dr. Alvarado. So we encourage you to explore Team Kentucky. So I'm going to ask the panelists to take a few minutes and we highly encourage you to connect with Ready for Industry and then connect with your local workforce development area. So I'm going to open the floor to all of the panelists to share any insight or resources. And Tiffany, I'll start with you as our local workforce development area partner. What would you like to share?
So one of the ways that there's multiple ways that we use the Ready for Industry. And the perfect one was yesterday. We had a individual that came through and she worked in the healthcare field. And she's no longer able to work in that field due to some limitations with medical limitations with her knees, right? So she's looking for a new career path. And she's done this, she was in the healthcare field for 17 years. So that's what she knows. Whenever she was talking about, I'm not sure where to go, the first thing we did was say, hey, here's these, they're easy to navigate. Dig in on each one of them and look and see what interests you. We use this whenever we go into our school systems. We have encouraged the RFI simply because, just like I want to think that Dr. Alvarado had made this statement that sometimes, I don't know if it was her or Lisa, that said once you get into the job, you have a concept of the job, but you don't really know what it is. This lets our youth explore that, whether they are planning on a college-bound path or not. I use my daughter as an example. She chose a career path and went to college, is in debt like crazy because she didn't like that, right? So this right here would have been wonderful whenever she was, you know what I mean, get ready to go into college and try to find that pathway. Whenever an individual comes in and they want to receive ITA funds, a training account funds for WIOA funded assistance, if they say they want to go into healthcare, then we say, okay, you've got to do the RFI healthcare module. There's multiple ways to use this information and these modules that can benefit and help individuals have a stronger and more focused career pathway.
Thank you, Tiffany.
Lisa, I was going to go to Lisa next, but go ahead, Bill.
No.
Lisa, go ahead. You're muted. Oh, is she muted? Oh. Can we hear you now?
No.
There we go.
There. Oh, okay. No, I was just going to second and really third what Tiffany just said in terms of the introduction, particularly for high school students or youth who don't know what they're doing. And this is true, again, across any of the RFI programs that we have, but particularly given that introduction, it is so helpful. And again, and Dr. Alvarado, you may have mentioned this at the beginning of the presentation. It's only about 18 to 20 hours for the whole program. So there are 6 different sections, and it doesn't have to be done as a whole thing, but even just that intro or the first 2 or 3 sections to get them introduced to that, whether they're high school students or adults looking for a new career, they don't have to commit to, you know, the full 20 hours. But even with that, that's a very, that you know, in terms of low cost for your time and resources, that's not a lot of time to invest in something like this. The other thing that I wanted to say that Dr. Alvarado also touched on, and I'm not going to say stole my thunder, but as the director for the Office of Industry and Apprenticeship Services, this is a great stepping stone. When we talk about pre-apprenticeship, Kentucky does not have a certified pre-apprenticeship at this time, but certainly a program like RFI, and particularly for the IT industry sector, it's very important that this is a stepping stone into these types of careers and potential registered apprenticeship programs. So I just wanted to make that point that it is easy, it is not a lot of time, and it is, again, a great stepping stone to those. So Bill, I'll let you go next.
Hey, Bill, I want to add to Lisa. Sorry, Lisa, I did a commercial for yours. It was a commercial for your apprenticeship. No, but the one thing I wanted to mention, and that it can be used, like you said, it can be used in the sections. But we got some feedback from Team Kentucky about micro badging the sections, and so that will be launching in the next 2 weeks. Is that you could actually get badges for the section. So if you just want them to complete section 2 about career exploration, or you just want them to complete section 6 about the soft skills piece, you can have them complete that, and you'll have a downloadable micro badge that will be available in the next 2 weeks. And so thank you, Lisa, for helping me jog my memory on that one. So
yeah, and thank you for mentioning that, because I know we had talked about that. The other thing that I wanted to mention to everyone on the call is, you know, when you're working with those individuals who are, you know, the job seekers, you know, whether they're students or adults, the other thing to keep in mind as well is talking to your employers and communicating to the employers what RFI is. And when they see that credential, that micro badge, they know what that means. So I think that that's a very important piece, because the employers, a lot of times, they don't know exactly everything that's in it. And so just making sure to take the time to communicate both ways to both the potential employee and the employer when you're talking, oh, hey, we've got some individuals and this is what they have, and shoot over that information if you're working on this program. So just wanted to mention that. Thanks.
Thank you, Lisa. Bill.
Yeah, no, I was just going to echo a lot of what everyone else has said, but one of the big things about RFI is actually retention. So one of the things that individuals that are starting a new career, there's a whole bunch who think that they will love this new job. They will be successful. It's the thing they've always wanted to do when they grow up, and then they start the first day and they're like, oh, this is not what I expected. This is not what I like. I've made a horrible decision and I'm out. And they leave after a few days, a few weeks, a few months, you know, whatever. Having them go through a program like RFI allows them to get a glimpse into that industry and a glimpse into the expectations of that industry, because they may like you know, helping people. They may like working with computers, but then understanding, you may like playing around on computers, but to be a programmer requires a lot of attention to extreme detail to make sure every little tiny bit of code is correct. You know, they may love working with computers, but they may love software, but they don't love, you know, installing hardware and doing all the, you know, changing out piece components and things like that. You know, so understanding all the different aspects of what they will be expected to do in these industries, and giving them that as much information as possible before they even start in that industry can help significantly with that retention, especially that initial retention. And so that's why we're offering a program like this, is to help our employers with that initial retention, because onboarding is a costly thing for employers, and making sure that the applicants are well prepared and ready and understand what they're getting into can help stave off that initial retention loss.
All right, thank you, Bill. Naomi, bring us home.
Okay, so I want to say that RFI is coming full circle in this region for me. We have Owensboro High School just had an RFI summer camp, which allowed students to see and learn all about the different programs. They had speakers come in who talked about it. They are working on creating a full semester. So Dr. Alvarado, I'm going to tap you on that part so that they can help build out the course. They like that it doesn't have to have a specialist teaching it because it's a specialist training. That person can help them understand it, but doesn't have to have the experience in it. We have an area out in West Kentucky that is looking at doing the same thing. So they're starting from scratch. They're looking at doing it as a full semester program. So again, I'll be talking to Dr. Alvarado on that. And the kids are enjoying it because they're learning about it. They love that it gives them the introduction to apprenticeship. Most of the programs that the kids are interested are programs you can't do an internship in. You can't go and jump into healthcare because of limitations. They're interested, they think, like Bill said, they think, Lisa, we've all seen it, right? Somebody is, oh, I want to do this. You spend the money for the kid to get involved in some sort of sports, and they said, I don't want to do it anymore. It was too hard or whatever. But this allows the kids to have a hands-on, semi sort of approach to see if it's going to fit with what they're looking for. With apprenticeship, it's really helping out. I'm talking to a couple of our labor unions. They're looking at the module now to see if it's something they can use going into schools and talking, saying, here's a basic, here's something. So I'm not sure how that one's going to play out. Dr. Alvarado, I'll talk to you offline on that a little bit more, but we're trying, and I think you'll see a lot of growth with this. Some of the companies I've talked to have been reluctant, going, well, I don't want my people tied up that long. And Tiffany, you mentioned it. Do it in short bursts. Do it, if you want to be promoted, you got to complete this section or this micro section, whatever it is. Sorry, my voice is so I see great value, and I'm very grateful the state is invested in this to share with our people.
Thank you, Naomi.
Voice goes.
Thank you, Naomi, and thank you again for the participants today. We'll wrap up this session. Please reach out and connect with us regarding a Ready for Industry. And everyone, please have a great day. Thank you, Dr. Alvarado.
All right. Thank you, guys.
Bye-bye.